Every single mega harvest, I walk away with 150,000 points worth of rewards. And I'm not talking about me having to gift my main account hundreds of sugar apples, which takes hours. I spent 6 days building the perfect mega harvest method, and now it only takes me 5 minutes to set up every single time. But to understand how I did it, we need to go back to June 26th. That's where it all started. It was a cold Thursday morning. I was sitting in my room playing Grow a Garden, when suddenly, a message popped up from the official Grow a Garden Discord server. The message announced the Mega Harvest, the upgraded Summer Harvest event, and after reading it, and realizing that this was my chance to make a comeback in this game, I decided I was not only going to beat this event, but also get extremely rich while doing it. The Mega Harvest lasts 7 days, and even though this method took me 6 days to figure out, it is so overpowered that I only needed 1 day to execute it. And today, I am going to tell you how I did it, and with just 24 hours left until the end of the event, this is how you can do it too. But if I truly wanted to achieve such a goal, I needed a plan, and my objectives, starting with the first one, which is finding the best fruits to harvest for the event. Now my immediate thought was using the well-known tomato method, which involves planting and collecting hundreds of tomatoes. To make sure that this was the best method for fruit harvesting, I made a list of pros and cons of using the tomato method. For the first pro, I have to say it's very beginner friendly. The reason for this is because the tomato seeds used for this method are not only always in stock, but also only 800 shekels per seed. Next, the tomato method uses stackable plants, which means it doesn't take up that much space in your garden. As you can see right here, if I plant a tomato seed and then just wait for this little dark circle to disappear, I can plant it again in basically the same spot, which is like insane, and then I can do it again in like almost the same spot, and you can repeat this for about 5 times, which saves a lot of space. And let me just water this to show you guys how it looks. And as you can see, there is 2 tomato plants basically in one, and then one like besides them. The next pro is that tomatoes are easy to collect, kind of. If you have a lot of them stacked in the same spot, it's kind of easy to collect. You can just click E like this, unlike sugar apples, which you have to look up and you can't really stack them, you know. And the next and final pro is that they regrow super fast. As you can see right here, if I collect these tomatoes right here and then just wait for them to kind of regrow. As you can see, we already have a tomato right here just growing. While that may have not seem very fast, you can actually collect the same tomatoes 5 times. They can regrow 5 times in one harvest, and even more if you use sprinklers. The reason for this is because the harvest lasts a whole 10 minutes, so they have a lot of time to regrow. Now for our cons, and that is that tomatoes only give 3 points per fruit, compared to sugar apple, which is a prismatic and gives 7 points per fruit, or the prickly pear, which is a mythical and gives 5 points per fruit. These values are based off this list, which states that you get 1 point for common fruits, 2 points for uncommons, 3 points for rares, 4 points for legendaries, 5 points for mythicals, 6 points for divines, and 7 points for prismatics. However, as the pro beginner friendly said, tomatoes are definitely a lot easier to get than sugar apples, especially in large amounts, so this point difference is actually really small. But then we have our second con, and that is these tomatoes can really eat into your seed limit, and if you don't know what that is, let me just explain to you really quick. So the seed limit is this thing right here, as you can see at the top. It's basically how many seeds you can plant in your garden at maximum, and that is 800 seeds. As you can see, I've already reached it. And for example, if you're using a lot of tomatoes for this method, like 100 or 200, or for example me, I use 500, so it really eats into the seed limit really fast, and I already reached it. And for our final con, is that this method, especially if you use a lot of tomatoes and plants, it can cause lag spikes or just normal lag. So watch out for that. And yeah. But even with all these cons, I still think that this is going to be the best method to use for this objective. Next, I need to find the fastest way to harvest the fruits, because as we know, if I use the tomato method, I'm going to need to collect a lot of tomatoes, so I needed to find the fastest way to do it. First, if I just try to spam E, it works, but if you're trying to really do this for like almost 10 minutes, it's really tiring. So then you might think to just get an auto clicker and just, you know, kind of go like just spam tomatoes and just click them. But the reason why this is actually not a good way to do it is because you have to hover over the collect button with your mouse, and like I'm not trying to play some kind of aim trainer dog. But I have found something better, which is also the best way to collect the tomatoes or just any fruits, and that is using this one app called Autohotkey. And what this app basically does is it is like an auto clicker, but instead of clicking your mouse really fast, you can make it click your E key or any key really fast. Let me show you guys how to install it first. So you wanna look up Autohotkey or whatever on Google Chrome or whatever browser you're using. Go to the website autohotkey.com and then click this download button right here. Alright guys, and once you've got the program downloaded and installed, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to launch it. So it's gonna be called Autohotkey Dash, and then what you're gonna want to do is click create new script. And then you're gonna name it. I like to name it just spamE, but you can name it whatever you want. Make sure empty selected, and then just click create. This will pop up a folder with the place where the script was created. As you can see right here, I've just created it. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to right click it, and then go to edit in Notepad. And then an empty Notepad window will pop up. And so this does require some coding knowledge, but luckily for you guys, I've got an already ready to go script, as you can see right here. So I'm gonna leave the script in the description. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna wanna go to the description of this video, copy the script and paste it into the empty Notepad window of the script that you just created. I'm going to paste it. And as you can see right here, there is the hotkey. So you want to change the F10 to whatever key you want the toggle to be. So for example, if I make it F3, and then there's also this, which is how often you want the E key to be spammed. This one means send every 1 milliseconds, and I don't recommend changing this because it's already, I recommend not changing it because this is already good enough. You don't need to be faster or slower. And once you've gotten your desired hotkey and other settings, you're gonna want to click file up here and then click save. Then close the notepad, you want to close the notepad and close the Autohotkey dash, but keep the folder with the script open. And once you've saved it, whenever you want to launch the script, go to the folder where the script is located, and then you want to click on the script that you just saved to. You want to double click it. Nothing will pop up, but don't worry because it's working, it's in the background. And now if I click the key that I set it to, which in this case I set it to F3, it's going to just start spamming really fast. And this is super overpowered because you can fill up your inventory very quickly. As you can see, it's already full in like 5 seconds or something. As you can see, all the tomatoes, very OP. Very OP, and this is the fastest way. Next up, I have to find the best and the fastest way to bring the fruits to the harvest. So I decided to calculate how long it would take for me to get from my tomatoes to the start of the garden. But that would actually be instant because I can just teleport using the garden button. However, I cannot do that from where my garden is to the harvest. So instead, I have to find out how long it takes to walk from there, and the time it takes is around 7 seconds. However, what if my garden was actually closer to the harvest? In which case it would take less time. And if it was closer, the time that it would take would be around 2 seconds instead. But then at the same time, I need to find the fastest way to bring the fruits to go back to my garden to where the fruits are. And to do that, I have decided to calculate how long it takes for me to get from my harvest to the garden, but I can once again use the button to teleport. And then to go from the start of my garden to the tomatoes, it's actually around 2 seconds once again. So then I decided to calculate the total time that it takes to submit the fruits and go back, which comes out to around 4 seconds. But how can we make this faster? My first thought was to use a gray mouse, which increases your movement speed by around 10%, but we will need to save the pet slots for more important pets later on. So I decided to do some research, and eventually I came across the Pear teleport method. And here's how this method basically works. What it does is, if you have a pear that is at least 17.5 kilograms or more, you can basically use it to teleport anywhere on the map instantly, which is very overpowered and would turn the time it takes to submit the fruits and go back from 4 seconds to almost basically 0 seconds. The problem was that I didn't have any pears. However, I did have one pear seed, so I decided to plant it. And there it is, there is the pear seed. Doesn't look like it's gonna be as big as the ones used in the teleport method videos, but I decided to open some seed packs to try and get some more pear seeds so I could do the sprinkler method. Okay, got one first try, nice. Cantaloupe. Another pear, good. Another cantaloupe. A wild carrot, that's fine. Another pear. A parasol flower. I got a cantaloupe. Cantaloupe. A wild carrot. And a pear, good. And another pear. Alright, so I didn't get anything on my first try, but that's fine.
Then I tried to look it up to see if maybe the pair teleport method was fixed, but nothing came up. I just had to try again.
Then the update happened, there was a disco event. Also a swimming event, I could see my cactus from up for the first time in very long. There was also a lot of thunders and the Grow Garden movie was announced, which was pretty interesting. There was 2 master sprinklers in stock. And also a sugar apple. And I went AFK and missed 100 stocked carrots. That was very sad. Then there was another sugar apple. I did a harvest event for 0 summer coins. Did another harvest in a public server and got my durian with disco and a lot of other mutations stolen, but we got like 16k points. Did another summer harvest. And then another one. Then I opened some summer seed packs to get some more pears. Got a wild carrot. Then I got a pear. And from my third pack, I got a which was pretty cool. Little did I know, getting all of these pears was going to be the start of my downfall. and out of panic I deleted all my sugar apples that got in the way, and left before the master sprinkler could end, hoping that I can get the teleport pears again. And after just 2 more tries, I managed to get another one. But I needed 2. And after somehow not spotting it the first time, I went through my inventory again. And then I spotted the second one. I had exactly how much I needed. This time I didn't forget to favorite them. Now there's one more thing I gotta tell y'all, and that is the best pets that you should have equipped during this thing. And if I'm being honest, I spent a very long time trying to get age 45, age 60 and age 75 pets. But honestly, I've just kind of came to the conclusion that you should just equip every single pack bee you have, and then every single giant ant you have that you can equip.
Alright guys, and one more tip, yeah? So imagine these are like all of the gardens. First garden, second garden, third garden, fourth garden, fifth garden, sixth garden. This is the seed shop, sell shop, and this is the gear shop, alright? This is the harvest. So whenever you're doing this method, make sure that your garden is anywhere except for this. Because if you're submitting the fruits, you're gonna be facing this way because this is where Georgia is, right? And then once you're clicking E, you might accidentally pick up one of your fruits if it's over there. So just do not be here, okay? And it's also probably even better if you're not here, instead just somewhere down here. But then also if you're down here, it's better if whenever you're collecting your tomatoes, this is your tomatoes, it's better that you're facing this way, because then once you equip the pear, you're going to be teleported, and you're also going to be facing the same way you were here, and you're going to be easily be able to complete it, you understand? And yeah, because if you're facing like this way, you use the pear, you're going to need to turn around. That takes time, you understand? So yeah, just keep this in mind.
Oh yeah guys, and another 6th step that I forgot to say, which is probably actually the most important one, is to use alt accounts for 5 times reward, and you can get 4 alt accounts in the server because the maximum server limit is 5. So you can get 5 extra rewards, so yeah, just do that.
Alright guys, this is me doing showcasing the run using this method. As you can see, it was pretty fast. This is sped up, but you know.
And even though I only got 20,000 points, not only was this not a mega harvest, meaning that if it was I would have gotten 44,000, but also I didn't have my alt accounts, which would have basically been times 5 points. So this could have been 200,000 points, and yeah, 5 hamsters,
5 of everything, like 200 summer coins. The rewards itself were pretty mid, but yeah. Here's an example of another good run I got, in which I got 28,000 points on the Mega Harvest, but I had 4 alt accounts in the server, so look at the rewards, 28 summer coins. Look at all the summer seed packs, literally 4 summer seed packs, and that's not all. Chocolate carrot, chocolate spindles, and even a moon mango, as well as a night egg, and other OP stuff. And keep in mind, I literally claimed all those rewards 5 times basically. I got 5 moon mangoes, like 150 summer coins. It was insane, bro. 5 night eggs, actually so overpowered.